What is up, everybody? I got a sweet new build I wanted to share with you guys. And first off, you might think this is a skill build. This is not a skill build. I guess you could call this like a hybrid build, but you're not using your skills to do damage, even though it does have 7 yellows. This is much more like one of my old school armor-based builds. Now, the core of this runs off Unstoppable Force, Spotter, On the Ropes, Patience, and then using Pulse and Chem Launcher to keep your on the ropes up. The Chem Launcher, you can have a very strong heal, and the Pulse, you can have a very, very good cooldown. The damage is also really good. I have 29,000 on my Eagle Bearer. I guess I can show stats first so I don't forget to show that later. We're running 29,000 on the Eagle Bearer. We have 10 crit chance, 55 headshot damage, and 71% damage to elites. It's a little bit lower than my clutch build with Berserk, but it's very, very safe. With Unstoppable Force, I'm getting 24% weapon damage after killing an enemy. You get 2% for every 25,000 armor. We're getting 24% right there. With On the Ropes up, we're getting another 25% weapon damage. So right there, that equals the amount of damage that you get from Berserk if you have no armor. And that's pretty damn good. To top it off, we're running Spotter, which is replacing damage to elites on the mask. And this gives you 20% weapon damage to pulsed enemies. And it's really strong. So, the downside is that I had to run this ongoing directive holster myself, which has 4 yellows to get, you know, I needed 7 blues and 7 yellows. The reds weren't as important, but I did want to have reds wherever I could to make the damage. So I'll go over all the gear here. This also uses Gunner for 10% armor on kill. Gunner is really good with this. Here, I'll go over the spec first real quick. Gunner is the first time I've actually really used Gunner in a build, but it works great for the Eagle Bearer and an armor-based build. The main reason is you get 10% armor on kill. This thing's okay. Every third reload is 50% faster. Your med kits give you 50% bonus armor for 10 seconds. And then with the Eagle Bearer, you have this really nice thing called Emplacement. 20% weapon handling while not moving. You need to be motionless for 1 second. It works in cover or out of cover. And this is almost the equivalent of the stability buff from Sharpshooter. So you won't really notice a huge difference in the way your Eagle Bearer performs if you're standing still. So that's pretty cool. It's also got rate of fire increases by 5% on kill for 5 seconds. So it's a nice little 5% DPS increase right there after a kill. And then, you know, you've got your minigun, which can be pretty cool. It gives you a ton of armor when you pop it out. And I haven't fully upgraded it yet, so I'm just spec'd into assault rifle myself. If you did run this with a LMG, you can get the 50-round mag. And I actually put some points into the pistol because I'm actually using the pistol. Now, as far as my gear, let me show you the gear. Let's go back into the happy place. And we'll start with the weapons. Obviously, Eagle Bearer. This is the best weapon to use, I think. And, I mean, you don't really need to explain it. It's just really, really good. If you don't know about the Eagle Bearer, you could check it out. But I'm not going to go over it on this build video. Now, this gun is not what I planned on using. Because in rhythm. Normally, I want in rhythm. On this build, you don't want in rhythm. But the whole purpose that I built this build for is 2-manning the easy mode raid. Me and my friend have been very, very close to doing it with our Berserk clutch builds, but it gets overwhelming, and when they get close to you, it's really hard to kill the enemies fast while maintaining, you know, your health and reloading, because you need to use a submachine gun to do it when they get that close. So I had the idea to build this one, and preservation is key here. This is what I'm going to use to kill drones when I'm 2-manning. Killing an enemy repairs 10% armor over 5 seconds. So with Gunner, you're going to be getting 10% armor instantly and 10% over 5 seconds. So you kill 4 drones, which pop out on one side, you're going to be getting, you know, a total of 80% armor. You kill the other 4, that's another 80% armor. 40 of that over 5 seconds for each 4, and 40 of it instantly. It's crazy, crazy good. The downside is it has in rhythm, and I don't want to ruin this, so I don't actually have a spare gun with preservation, and if I did, I would throw it onto like my SOCOM Mark 16 here that has extra and Optimist, and I would roll the Optimist into preservation. That's what I think is going to be the best bet for the secondary gun. You just don't want to have in rhythm, because when you kill an enemy, you don't want your cooldowns being refreshed, because then it'll take away your damage from on the ropes. As far as secondary stats go on your pistol or, you know, your other gun that I was just showing, protected reload is pretty important on this build, I think, since it's high armor based. Protected reload goes a long ways, 10% bonus armor while reloading. Another really good one would be rooted. While equipped and in cover, equipped does not mean you have to have the pistol out. It can be, you know, on your pistol, not using it. All skill damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. You lose it after exiting cover, and it happens once per 60 seconds, which is pretty good. That means when you get in cover, you've got 25% bonus healing for 10 seconds, which means when you shoot someone and kill them, you're getting 12.5 instead of 10. Your patience is going, you know, a little bit stronger than what it used to be. Not that much stronger, but a little bit more per second. So that's pretty cool, as well as your Chem Launcher. Now, as far as the gear goes, I'm running a Heliguard mask. Unfortunately, I don't have a double yellow Sokolov mask, which would probably be the best bet here. You can run 2 yellows with damage to elites and spotter, but I don't have it. So the next best option for me was to get some health, just in case I needed it. Damage to elites, spotter, and the utility mod slot. Heliguard's also great to have one piece of, which usually would be your knee pads, and the 20% hazard protection for the 2-piece there. Still looking for that double yellow red mask, though. My backpack is not anything crazy amazing, but it works. It's Murakami, 8% health, not that important. The armor is 14% armor on it. It works out to be around equal to 30,000 armor. I compared it to having around 30,000 armor on the backpack, and it was giving me about the same. 9% weapon damage, a yellow, and on the ropes and hard hitting, as well as a blue mod slot. So this backpack actually worked out great. I'm using the red for the, you know, the weapon damage. I needed the blues, I needed the yellows. So this is actually a really good backpack. It doesn't look that good, but it's perfect for this build. Next, we're going to go chest piece. I got this badass Stridsvast Fenris chest. I rolled it to 13% weapon damage because it wouldn't let me put more. It's at 100%. It's almost 34,000 armor, almost 200 skill power with unstoppable force, hard hitting, and a red mod slot. This thing's awesome. If you're struggling getting yellows to unlock your on the ropes, you can craft the Fenris chests. They start with an H, and they give you a yellow mod slot. So you can actually get double yellows on your chest. You could get a red, blue, yellow with the yellow mod slot. But I've got a red mod slot because I wanted the damage. So this is a pretty badass chest. It's going to be hard to replace this. I mean, it's pretty much perfect for this build. The only thing that I think could be better would be if it had like a high headshot damage roll or something, and then you had a yellow mod slot. You could make more damage, but it'd be lower base weapon damage. I don't even think that would be better. I think I'd rather have the 6.5 or 7% weapon damage on the mod slot than some headshot damage here. But maybe not. I don't know. Crit chance isn't really needed in this build either. Gloves. Alps gloves, climbing gloves. You have another option. You could do the Alps gloves with the yellow mod slot. Those are called hybrid. And you could also run Heliguard gloves. They run a yellow mod slot as well, and a blue. So you could run Heliguard to get a blue, and then you get the red from the attribute, hard hitting. But if you want max damage output, this is the way to go, because you can put that mod slot in there. This one's got 6% assault rifle damage. So this is pretty good. Only thing that would make it better would be that this was, 12% assault rifle. but I rolled it to hard hitting and pretty solid there. But you do have a couple of options, like I said, if you're struggling to get more blues or yellows. Now, holster. This is the piece that I had to sacrifice damage to elites on. But it was worth it because I got, on the ropes going, as well as, a almost permanent uptime of pulse and a very strong Chem Launcher heal. My ongoing directive holster rolled 4 yellows. I actually found another one with 4 yellows that has higher skill haste. Curious how much skill power it'll let me roll. This one, I put 728 skill power on it, and it's only at 82%. So likely I could probably roll that onto the other one, but the skill haste isn't that big of a deal. So I didn't find that I had this. This was actually in my Dark Zone Extracted tab for the last couple months. But yep, it's got mods for, high skill power, high pulse, high skill power, high Chem Launcher, and the same thing goes with this one. This one I have, 422 pulse with 54 skill power. That's what you want to use for your yellow mod slots, is very high skill-based skill powers with the skill power roll. Kneepads, pretty self-explanatory. We've got, Heliguard kneepads rolled to armor. I can get that better. I did get a 12.5% armor roll today was given to me, so that might be pretty sweet on there. I'm not exactly sure how much better that would be. And I think I have like a 17 or 18,000 armor knee pad I could also do, but not that big of a difference. So left it where it was. Patience, 2 blue mod slots. You want to make sure you look for mods that have % total armor, because, having one that has 6,000 armor with no % armor is not even close to as much armor as 2,500 with 4%. So keep that in mind when you're putting your mods on. Skills, we've got Pulse, and this Pulse has 182.7 skill haste. That's what's getting my cooldown to 12 seconds, 12.1. Pretty awesome. And I'm running a battery in the other slot, 998 skill power. My total skill power is 2869 on this, and currently I only needed 2740. So I could actually get a better skill haste mod to put in there if I find a better one. Maybe bring it down to 11 seconds or something. My Chem Launcher, you've got a couple of options. You can run an increased heal, like I have, 82% increased heal here, or you could run additional charges. The reason you could run additional charges is you could pop more of them at a time, so that you don't have to worry about popping Chem Launchers, because the more you have to pop Chem Launcher and Pulse, the more you have to take away from shooting. Unfortunately, you can't pop them while shooting. Well, I think Pulse you can, but maybe I'm tripping. I'm still new to the build. Chem Launcher definitely interrupts you for a good couple of seconds. It's kind of the thing that I don't like the most about it. So having additional ones can help with that. Just popping like, 3 or 4 of them at a time, so you're not worried about popping another one for a while unless you needed the heal. You could also go with duration, so you can stand in your heal longer if you wanted, or do what I did, and I just went with a stronger heal. Now, the other benefit is if you do have more charges, since they only last 5 seconds, and my cooldown's 13 seconds, there's, a big downtime from permanent uptime of keeping Chem Launchers out there. But if you had, an additional 5, so a total of 8, you could pop it and then pop another one right when it's done and pop another one. But the downside of that, the reason I'm not doing that, is it takes away from, shooting and dealing damage. So went with the heal and a battery. Battery's 987. We needed a total of 2470, and we got 2536. So that worked out pretty good. And I think that really covers everything. This build hits really hard. It does some serious damage. Not quite as, much damage as my my Berserk clutch build, but it's a lot safer. Now, I'm not used to the playstyle yet because I've been running Berserk clutch for so long that it's kind of hard to use this to its full potential for me so far. I ran the raid, and I had a little bit of issues just, popping my pulse and my Chem Launcher so frequently. You got to do it every 10 seconds, So It's kind of annoying if you're not used to that, especially coming from the Pulse Smart cover, or the, not Pulse Smart cover, that's Division 1, the Berserk clutch build, where, you know, you're only popping your skill when you're about to die to put a drone out or something, you know. So it's a bit different. Damage output wasn't quite as high, but man, if you're in cover, you are getting patience heals, you're getting armor on kill, you're getting, you know, all this stuff. If you're running preservation on your second gun, if you're doing something sketchy, like say your team struggles with killing drones, you can pull out this to kill drones instead. Pull out preservation, because it's actually really good for killing drones. You kill the drones and you just have so much armor over time generating. It's a great talent that gets overlooked for survivability. And that is my plan to do the 2-man easy mode raid. That's what I've been trying to do. We've gotten really close, and I think this build is going to do it. Haven't done it yet, but that is the plan. Let's do some, let's shoot some stuff real quick. Let's do that, and then go like this, go like this. As you can see, it's hitting 178. That's pretty damn strong. My DPS is a lot higher than that if I keep shooting, but that is pretty damn strong. And there's my cooldown. It's already done. It's really, really, really nice. 2.5 million. 2.9 million. That is badass for an armor build. That, with this much survivability, that is incredibly badass. I'm really happy with this build, and I highly recommend it if you're, you know, struggling getting a clutch Berserk build going, or you don't like the run and gun playstyle of clutch with Berserk. This is, I think, going to be the next best bet. You know, I'm not into these skill builds where you sit in cover and spam skills. I don't like that. I like to shoot my guns. So, everyone keeps being like, oh, why'd you make a skill build? You said you weren't gonna. I probably will, just for YouTube, but it's not something that really interests me. So this is my version. It's kind of like my original build that I used to run way back in the day, but with, you know, 6 reds instead of 3 and compensated, because now that you can put a red mod slot in the Alps gloves, it's good. It's way better than compensated. And, yeah, I think that covers everything. Pretty happy with this. You can check me out live, Twitch TV/Inigo Montoya, if you want to see gameplay of the build. I stream there almost every day, and you can check out my other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave comments below. Let me know if you think it's, you know, what you could do to make it better, or where you would change anything. I've looked at it for quite a while and tried to min-max it and figure out what I could do differently to gain a little bit of damage here or there. And it's pretty tough, because I don't need crit on the holster. So the only thing that would help me there would be a red mod slot. I could run, you know, the Sokolov mask, which would drop the blue and give me an extra yellow that I could drop elsewhere. But if I dropped the yellow on the holster, I'd still need 3 yellows there. The other option would be, you know, the gloves. I could run Heliguard gloves, but then I lose the red mod slot, so I'm not really gaining anything there. So honestly, I think this is pretty much the best I'm going to be able to make it. I can't think of, even if I had the Sokolov mask, what would I do with it? I'd gain a yellow, I'd lose a blue. So I'd need to gain a blue somewhere, and then I'd need to gain, could lose a yellow. I mean, we could then, I guess, have health on our holster, but we lost health on the mask. You could get a little bit more health that way. So I don't know. I think this is about as good as it's going to get. So let me know, guys. Let me know if you have any tips on what I could do to actually improve this, because I'm kind of at a stalemate here and I don't know what I could do. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you around.